At exactly 1:00 a.m., my phone vibrated against the wooden nightstand, and the room was dark except for the thin line of moonlight slipping through the curtains. I was half asleep, drifting between dreams, when the screen lit up with her name. Ariba, my heart smiled before my mind did. Then I opened the message, "Don't wait for me tonight." 4 simple words, no explanation, no apology, no heart. I stared at it for a long time, as if more text might magically appear. It didn't. Ariba had never been careless with words. Even on late office nights, she called, she explained. She complained about traffic or deadlines. She always ended with, "Sleep, I'll be home soon." But tonight felt different. I sat up slowly. The other side of the bed was empty, the sheets cold and untouched. Her pillow still carried her soft jasmine perfume. It felt like a ghost of comfort. My thumb hovered over the keyboard. "Where are you?" I deleted it. "Is everything okay?" Deleted again. I didn't want to sound insecure. I didn't want to sound suspicious. Instead, I got up and walked to the dresser. Our wedding photo stood there in a silver frame. We looked so young, so certain. Her head rested against my shoulder, her smile wide and fearless. I picked up the frame and stared at it. When did certainty become distance? Without thinking too much, I took a picture of that wedding photo. The flash briefly lit up the room. I opened our chat and sent it to her. Underneath I typed, "I wasn't planning to." Not angry, not emotional, just calm. A few minutes passed, no reply. The silence felt heavier than shouting ever could. At 1:27 a.m., my phone buzzed again. My chest tightened, but it wasn't a message. It was a photo. Ariba, sitting across from a man at a candlelit restaurant. Warm golden lights, 2 glasses of wine, her hand resting on the table. His hand close, too close. I zoomed in slowly, her smile. It wasn't forced, it wasn't professional, it was personal. The air in my lungs felt thinner. I expected anger. I expected tears. Instead, I felt something colder. Clarity. This wasn't a late meeting. This wasn't overtime. This was a choice. I looked closer at the reflection in the window behind them. A street sign, familiar. It was the restaurant we once planned to visit for our anniversary. A bitter smile formed on my lips. If she didn't want me to wait tonight, then I wouldn't, but I would remember. And sometimes remembering is far more powerful than reacting. I placed the phone back on the table and leaned against the headboard, staring at the ceiling. At 1:00 a.m., my wife thought she was gaining freedom. She had no idea she had just changed everything. The next morning, I woke up before my alarm. I hadn't really slept. The image from the night before replayed in my mind like a silent film. Candlelight, wine glasses, her smile. Still, when I stepped into the kitchen, I moved with unusual calm. I made her favorite breakfast, omelette with extra cheese, lightly toasted bread, tea with 2 sugars, the small rituals of love. At 8:30 a.m., the front door clicked open. Ariba walked in quietly, wearing the same dress from the photo. Her heels were in her hand, her hair slightly messy, but her makeup carefully retouched. "Morning," she said, avoiding direct eye contact. "Morning," I replied gently. "Rough night." She placed her purse down and forced a small smile. "Work dinner, it got late." Work dinner, the lie slipped out so easily. That was what hurt the most. Not the affair, not yet, but the smoothness of her deception. I nodded and slid the tea toward her. "You should have told me earlier. I stayed up." She paused for half a second. "I told you not to wait." "Yes," I said quietly. "You did." She ate slowly, scrolling through her phone. A small smile appeared at the corner of her lips when a notification popped up. She turned the screen away from me without thinking. That single motion confirmed everything. After she left for work again, I didn't cry. I didn't break anything. I didn't call her. Instead, I opened my laptop. I searched for the restaurant, checked its location, zoomed in on street views until I confirmed the sign I had seen in the reflection. My memory had been right. Then I searched for the man. His name was Saad, senior manager at her company, married, 2 children. I remembered him vaguely from an office event years ago. He had shaken my hand firmly and told me I was lucky to have such a brilliant wife. Interesting choice of words. By afternoon, I contacted a private investigator. My voice remained steady. I don't want confrontation. I told him, I want facts. Understood. He replied. The next few days, I acted normal. I asked about her day. I listened to her stories. I laughed when she laughed. I watched carefully. She became more distant. Her phone never left her hand. She locked it even when walking to the kitchen. She showered immediately after coming home. Sometimes she smiled at messages and then quickly cleared her notifications. Each small behavior felt like another stitch tearing open. A week later, the investigator called. "We have documentation," he said. When he handed me the envelope, my hands didn't shake. Inside were photos, dates, hotel entries, receipts, not one night, months. I closed the folder slowly. Pain rose in my chest, but I pressed it down. Anger would ruin everything. Patience would shape everything, and I had already decided. This wouldn't end in chaos. It would end in truth. The night of the company gala arrived wrapped in gold and glitter. The ballroom shimmered under crystal chandeliers, their reflections dancing across polished marble floors. Soft instrumental music floated through the air while waiters moved gracefully between guests, holding silver trays of sparkling drinks. Ariba stood in front of the mirror adjusting her red gown. It hugged her perfectly. She looked breathtaking, confident, elegant, untouchable. "You look beautiful," I said calmly. She smiled a little nervously. "Thank you. You clean up nicely, too." Her hand slipped into mine as we entered the venue. To everyone watching, we were the perfect couple. 12 years of marriage displayed in polished smiles and coordinated outfits. Across the hall, I saw him, Saad, black tuxedo, relaxed posture, laughing at something someone said. His wife stood beside him, dressed in soft blue, unaware of the cracks beneath her polished world. Ariba's grip on my arm tightened slightly when she noticed him. Just for a second, then she recovered. We approached them. "Good to see you," I said warmly, extending my hand. Saad hesitated for a fraction of a second before shaking it. "You too." His wife smiled politely. "I've heard so much about you." I returned the smile. "Only good things, I hope." Ariba's eyes avoided mine. The program began. Speeches about growth, loyalty, teamwork. Words that suddenly felt ironic. Then the host announced an open appreciation segment. Anyone who would like to say a few words about their journey. I stood. Ariba looked up sharply. "What are you doing? Trust me." I whispered gently. The microphone felt steady in my hand. 12 years ago, I began. I married the most incredible woman in this room. Applause echoed softly. Ariba forced a smile, relief flickering across her face. I believed marriage was built on honesty. I continued on loyalty, on promises that don't expire after midnight. The room grew quieter. I connected my phone to the projector behind me, and tonight I want to celebrate truth. The first image appeared. A restaurant table, candlelight, 2 wine glasses, murmurs rippled through the crowd. The second image, hotel entrance, date stamp clear, gasps. The third image, a closer shot, her smile, his face unmistakable. Silence swallowed the ballroom. Saad's wife turned slowly toward him, confusion melting into horror. Ariba's face drained of color. "I don't believe in shouting," I said calmly. "I believe in clarity." My eyes met Saad's wife's briefly. You deserve the truth. I unplugged the phone and stepped away from the stage. No screaming, no accusations, just evidence. As I walked past Ariba, she whispered, her voice trembling, "How could you do this to me?" I stopped and looked at her gently. How could I? The question hung between us, heavy, sharp, undeniable. For the first time in months, the masks had fallen, and the truth stood naked in the light. That night, the drive home was silent. The city lights blurred past the car windows, but inside, everything felt painfully clear. Ariba sat in the passenger seat, staring straight ahead. Her hands trembled slightly in her lap. When we reached home, she finally broke. "How could you humiliate me like that?" She cried the moment the door closed behind us, in front of everyone. I placed my keys on the table carefully. My movements were slow, controlled. "I didn't humiliate you," I said quietly. "I revealed you." Tears streamed down her face. "It didn't mean anything. It was a mistake. I was confused. Months." I asked softly. "Hotels are confusion. Candlelight dinners are accidents." She had no answer. Instead, she tried another approach. "I was lonely. You were busy. You stopped noticing me." I looked at her for a long moment. There it was, the shift of blame, the attempt to rewrite history. "I made you breakfast the morning after you lied to me," I said calmly. "I asked about your day. I trusted you. Don't turn your choices into my failures." She sank onto the couch, covering her face. For the first time in 12 years, I didn't feel anger. I felt distance. I walked to my study and returned with a folder. I placed it gently on the coffee table in front of her. Divorce papers, prepared, signed. Her eyes widened. "You planned this." "I prepared for truth," I replied. "That's different." She began to cry harder. "Please don't throw this away. We can fix it. I'll end it. I promise." I knelt in front of her, not with desperation, but with finality. "I loved you," I said honestly. "I would have fought the world for you, but I won't fight you for your loyalty." The room felt strangely peaceful. "I'm not leaving because I hate you," I continued. "I'm leaving because I respect myself." Those words hurt her more than any shouting could have. Within weeks, everything unraveled for her. Saad's wife left him. Their company launched an internal investigation. Whispers followed them everywhere, but I didn't watch closely. Revenge had already been served, not through destruction, but through exposure. Months later, I moved into a smaller apartment. It was quiet, clean, honest. One evening, my phone buzzed, a message from Ariba. "I ruined everything." I stared at it for a long time before replying. "No," I wrote, "you revealed everything." I put my phone down and stepped onto the balcony. The night air felt different now, lighter. At 1:00 a.m. that night months ago, she had asked me not to wait. And she was right. I didn't wait. I moved forward.